Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the New Balance Hesi Low. So this shoe is New Balance's kind of new budget shoe, and it retails for 110 bucks, which is actually pretty cheap. So if you guys do want to cop, try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. There are a few colorways available, and the reason I like this colorway is because there is Velcro. This colorway is pretty cool because of that, and it does come with extra stickers that you can kind of take off and put on. There's Velcro here on the New Balance logo on the lateral side, and also here for the tongue, which I think is pretty cool, right? So again, links will be in the description box, but let's get started right off with the Tracciones in this colorway. It's actually pretty cool as well. So the color is different for both the left and right pairs of the shoe, right? So we have yellow solid rubber, and then we have the red and blue colors kind of changing. But anyways, how does the traction feel so far on my wood floors? It does not feel good. This feels terrible right now. It's sliding all over the place, and it's not because my floors are dusty. I did kind of vacuum, but other than that, it's just like it's not gripping at all, right? It's sliding around a lot. It has no grip. It feels like it has no bite. So that does worry me a little bit, right? Because it's not biting. Hopefully, you know, once I play it and break it in, it does get better. And also there's no squeak at all. I mean, of course it has nothing to do with performance, but I like to have a little bit of a squeak, and it has no squeak, and the bite does not seem good. Hopefully it does break in, because the rest of the shoe does feel pretty nice, right? It's just the traction that does not feel good really at all. And also, as far as the durability goes, durability feels like it's going to be very good, right? The rubber is very hard, and I mean, it's a cheaper shoe as well, 110 bucks, so that's good too. And we have kind of like this herringbone, like modified herringbone traction pattern with this kind of like squiggly line going across the outsole, right? And also we have the New Balance logo here. So durability for outdoor use should be good. You know, the rubber is very hard. You got a lot of grooves. Grooves are deep and thick, so I guess that's the only good thing so far, just outdoor use, right? And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, also it does feel pretty smooth, right? So here in the heel we have a nice curved shape, and also the midsole is pretty much fully exposed, right? So it's very soft here in the heel as far as the compression, and then here in the forefoot we have a nice curved shape and a good or a lot of forefoot flex, a good amount of forefoot flex, which feels very nice and smooth. I like how that feels. And then here in the midfoot, it doesn't really bend at all. It probably has a midfoot shank plate, so good torsional support. So overall, heel to toe transition feels very smooth so far. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So we got full length fuel cell, which is pretty interesting. I thought fuel cell was a foam that they used more in their expensive shoes, right? And the fresh foam was kind of like the cheaper shoes, but yeah, they're using full length fuel cell, right? And it does feel pretty dang nice. A fuel cell has a good amount of compression. It's not super duper soft, but it has a good amount of compression, and just pressing it with my finger, there is a good amount of give too. So yeah, there's a lot of compression here in the heel, which makes it feel very nice and comfortable. And then here in the forefoot, it has a little bit of compression as well. However, the step-in comfort is pretty bad, right? So for the insole is just a regular kind of insole. It feels pretty nice, but you know, these types of insoles, they do bottom out over time pretty quickly as well. So it does improve the step-in comfort just a tiny bit once you do get it though. So I guess that's a good thing. But underneath that, New Balance, just they give us really stiff strobles, like really stiff. It feels super glued down. So a step-in comfort is not that nice. And I feel like, you know, if they did a nice soft, you know, like mesh strobo board with the fuel cell right underneath your foot, like a full length fuel cell, this would be very nice, right? Cord feel is okay. You know, I feel like it's not super low to the ground, but it has pretty good cord feel. So if it just had really good step-in comfort, I feel like this would be a very good all-around cushioning setup. But it's still pretty nice, right? Especially for 110 bucks, full length fuel cell is great. And now moving on to the materials. So we have a series of synthetic materials and also just like a mesh, right? And it kind of reminds me of like, there was an Adidas shoe that kind of did this, where it has mesh, but underneath it has kind of like another material, and it's a lot stiffer of a material, right? So at the edge of the toe box, we have this synthetic material, which feels super duper cheap, like really crappy. But it does stiffen up the material to add support, which of course is a good thing. And also for toe drags, it adds for durability too. And then here in the toe box, it is relatively thin, right? It's a pretty thin material. However, it is pretty stiff and rigid, which of course is a good thing for support. But it doesn't feel like too rigid and too stiff like the, I guess like a Dawn Issue 5. Like the Dawn Issue 5 is super stiff, right? So this is actually pretty nice. It's not like super soft like how I would like it, but I feel like it's soft enough, right? And then here in the midfoot, we have a good amount of give as well. You know, it's not super glued down, but also does feel pretty supportive, right? And then for the tongue, we actually have a good amount of padding, which feels very nice, right? It feels very nice and cozy on top of your foot, and it's kind of like a mesh tongue as well. And it's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, I would say it's around average for the padding. You know, it's not super well padded, but it's also not super minimal. So that feels nice kind of in the back of the shoe as well. So the overall material, I mean, for 110 bucks, you can't really complain about quality, but it does feel pretty nice on foot, which of course is all I can ask for like a cheaper shoe. But like obviously, if you're looking for quality, this does not have good quality materials. And also, I guess we do have kind of like an external heel counter a little bit. It doesn't seem like it's super thick for the plastic. It also seems like there's an internal TPU heel counter, but we do have this kind of design going on with the New Balance logo here in the back of the shoe as well. And now moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size and it fits me pretty dang well. Lengthwise, there is just a tiny bit of length. So I feel like I could have gone down half a size if I wanted to, like if I want a really snug fit. But however, the length doesn't really bother me all too much. And also the shoe is a really snug fit, right? So here in the toe box, it's a snug fit, you know, it's squeezing the top of my toes a little bit as well. And then width wise, it's weird because like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it looks kind of wide, right? But for some reason, it's kind of squeezing the side of my pinky toe a little bit, and it feels like it's slightly narrow. So yeah, which is interesting because it doesn't look very narrow when you look at the design, right? But yeah, it's a very nice fit for me going up half a size. So if you want a more pretty snug fit, then go up half a size. If you want a really snug fit, then go true to size, but just be careful with that. And if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size, right? But overall, it does fit my foot pretty dang well. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it'll be very good, right? As far as sidewalls go, it doesn't really have anything coming up acting as a sidewall as far as like a plastic goes or like foam or anything like that. But like I said, the synthetic material does feel very supportive, right? So here in the toe box, it does get really rigid right here, right? So that'll help with lateral support, of course, here in the forefoot. And then here in the heel, it does seem like the foam does come up acting as a sidewall a little bit, and there is an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment feels like it's gonna be good. And also, like I said, this material overall is pretty rigid, so it does feel pretty supportive, right? And also lateral stability, look at that. Look at how much the outsole protrudes out here on the lateral side in the forefoot, so it feels like it has good lateral stability as well. There does seem to be a little bit of heel slippage though, just a tiny bit. It doesn't feel terrible. It just doesn't feel super locked down, like totally locked down. It doesn't feel terrible, however, where like it's, you know, my heel's coming out of a shoe a lot. But it's just like not amazing for the heel lockdown right now. So there's that. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. I feel like the shoe will be probably around average, right? 11-12 ounces. Yeah, 12.05 ounces. So basically 12 ounces, and the other shoe is 12.15 ounces. So the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So that is a little bit lighter than average. And it feels pretty lightweight. You know, it feels pretty lightweight because of the minimal upper. There's not a whole lot of foam in the upper. Nothing's really protruding out like crazy. So it doesn't even feel bulky at all. The only thing that sucks right now is the traction. The traction feels terrible. And if I'm sliding around all over the place, that's the worst, right? Because you're not going to feel responsive. You're not going to feel quick if the traction's bad. You know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully the traction feels better, you know? And now moving on to the aesthetics, it looks amazing. I really like the design of this shoe. It looks like a very simple design. But also I like this colorway for some reason. Usually I don't like bright colorways, but this colorway with the yellow, red, and white with the white midsole looks pretty sick. And like I said, I really like the Velcro with the stickers on it. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, like I said, for 110 bucks, this shoe feels pretty good, especially for the cushion, right? And I feel like for the upper, they had to, you know, make it a little bit cheaper because of the price. But the only thing I really don't like is the traction. The traction is feeling absolutely terrible. So like I said, you know, hopefully that breaks in. Hopefully that breaks in. But other than that, everything about this shoe feels pretty nice. I guess besides there is a little bit of heel slippage, it feels like. But that's pretty much the only thing that I don't like. And I guess the material quality, but I don't really care about material quality as much because first of all, it is a cheaper shoe. And second, it feels nice on foot. Like the overall upper feels pretty nice, so not a huge deal for me, right? So anyways, that's my first impressions look on the New Balance Hesi Low. Again, if you guys do want to cop, try to leave the link in the description box. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.